I think I wasn't live there for a second. I'm just realizing I had to click the go live button. I usually don't schedule these streams, but I scheduled this earlier today. Hang with me real fast while I let everybody know that we are live streaming here on YouTube. I also tried to time this out so that I could jump on during second intermission, because I know that's a time where people go get a snack, bathroom break, whatever, or that's typically when we do our thing on NBC Sports California. But obviously I've been watching the first 40 minutes of this game, and pretty encouraging, actually. I mean, all things considered, the way that San Jose played last game against Winnipeg and what they've done in the first 40 minutes against Buffalo, and don't get it twisted, the 5-win Sabres are not the Buffalo hockey team of yesteryear, even without Jack Eichel still. And by the way, when they talk about him on the broadcast, and when I hear that the two finalists for him are in the Pacific Division, and one of them's the Golden Knights, oh, man, that just it hits different out here in California. And I don't want to see the Golden Knights benefit from anything, especially other teams' struggles. And obviously I wish the best for Eichel, but didn't necessarily need to see him come out west here if that ultimately is what's happening. All right, let's take a quick look at the stats and what's happened in this game. My thoughts through 40 minutes. Jonathan Dahlen again, and after missing the other day, jumps right back on the horse. Love the fact that he just found a loose puck on the weak side, was able to bang it home. I mean, he's in the game, right? He's heads up, he's in the game. Their goal by Skinner, can I make this I guess I could make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, their goal by Skinner was right when the Sharks took a penalty. It was 6-on-5, and they grinded those 5 Shark players out. Buffalo did on the ice. They were tired. Skinner took advantage. Congratulations to Ryan Merkley, first NHL goal in only his second game. And I'm not trying to put the pressure on Merks here, but I kind of feel like Dan Boyle is a good comp. Sorry, I had to turn my iPad down here. I'm watching the game and the broadcast here on the iPad. Just the nature of the setup in here, this will work best. But anyway, whoa, didn't mean to do that. For Merkley to find this early success, for him to get the first NHL goal, but going back to my Boyle thing, just kind of undersized a little bit, but really comfortable playing the puck. I can see the offensive side there. I mean, what do I know? I've watched him now in the NHL for 5 periods, so that's an unfair assessment. It's also pretty difficult to make that analogy. You know, a Stanley Cup champion and an Olympic gold medalist, undrafted, was Dan Boyle, but Ryan Merkley certainly was drafted. But that's who he kind of gets me thinking of. So anyway, congrats to him. Also awesome. I saw a lot of people commenting that Hertl went to go grab Merkley's goal puck, bring it back out. Well, wouldn't you know it, Tomas Hertl got the next goal. I loved it when the Sharks were up 3-1 in this game. I don't think 3-2 is a bad situation. You still have the lead. Buffalo's good. You knew they were going to push, and I think there's still something from them to come in the third period. But I don't think at all it's a bad game by Reimer. 2 goals allowed so far, but you look at how they happened. Let me also take a quick look at time on ice for everybody. Mario Ferraro, holy smokes, already at 1850. He's the leader. Burns is not. Now, obviously, Burns was in the box there for the covering the puck penalty. But holy smokes. And you knew that 38 and 88, especially with the nature of all the players on the COVID list, those 2 guys are going to get a lot of the heavy lifting. But so goes it for this team. And like I said, I think that's one of the major things right now as you look at this situation. The head coach is not there. I mean, for goodness sake, the head trainer is not behind the bench. Ray Tufts is always there. You're missing Carlson. You're missing your leading goal scorer in Timo Meier, Marc-Edouard Vlasic. I could go on. And I guess, the Sharks were lucky to get Dahlen back out of this. Certainly, the timing was perfect, but they are very much hindered, and I honestly don't know how long this is going to last. Is it going to be a week plus for some of these guys, plus conditioning, plus jumping right back into a season when they were shut down for 10 to 14 plus days? I mean, this is It's definitely not optimal. Let me jump into the live chat here. Oh, I love the comment by Sample User. Thank you so much for saying that. What a dummy I am. I forgot to take that off. Sharks fan 8080 just watched the World Series and Atlanta beat the Astros in 6. So baseball season is done, everybody. You have no excuse but to commit your full attention now to the San Jose Sharks. Honestly, for me, baseball season ended weeks ago. I checked out a bit. I've been watching a little bit. And certainly the news surrounding the Oakland A's, it's been rough on a personal level. The passing of Ray Fosse, which touched all of us. And then this last week, Bob Melvin going from the A's to the Padres. And I've got a lot of videos here on the YouTube channel in case you haven't noticed. Ryan, what's going on? Thomas, and I would say it's only nice that it's just me and not Curtis. I didn't even invite Curtis. I'll tell you what, if I did invite Curtis, like if I set him up on a Zoom situation, or even if I called him right now and said, hey, call in. Oh, I'm not doing that. Oh, no. That's what I would get. He probably doesn't even know how to find. Like, I could say every bad thing in the world about him right now. He wouldn't even know where to find this. So we're good. But I appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you for being here. All right. Love the new name for the after game streams. Yeah, it's the Sharks Night Shift. Maybe I'll get some theme music for this too. Very hyped for the 2021 team. I totally agree, Kadoji. And I think you were looking at an offseason where change was hopefully going to take place. I go back in time and I said this. You needed 2 wow moves. Now, one of them was, intentional. The Sharks bought out Martin Jones. He's no longer the goalie. And, a fresh slate in the crease. Right? So that's kind of one of the wow moves. And then the other one never really happened. Or the Sharks didn't make it happen. It kind of happened to them, and that is the absence of Evander Kane. That's the whole situation in a lot of ways, and he was their best player last year. It's a wow situation to not have him around. Now, has that had the effect on the team? I don't know. It's been interesting. I mean, think about this. It's been interesting to watch the Sharks all season without their best player from last year. And it's been interesting in these last 5 periods to watch how much jump this team has, how they're in games. They're close, right? Like it was 1-0 for most of the night against Winnipeg, and the Jets tied it, and then the Sharks won it. Timo in overtime on the power play. But I do think there are some really positive trends. They won their first 4 games, and then they lost 3 in a row. And then, it was kind of dicey. And that third loss, 4-0 shutout at the hands of Montreal, it was, less than encouraging. And then all of a sudden, last game, it was super encouraging. That was a total statement win against all odds. Just that morning they found out they're down 7 players and their head coach, and it continues tonight. And here they are. So I think that all of the stuff you're seeing right now, no, we're not calling in yet. Sorry about that. All the stuff you're seeing last game and tonight, these are all statements and early signatures of this Sharks team. Greg, I don't know what you agree with, but I'm glad you agree. When is Brody Gaming going to happen? And what's up with the crazy face there? You do or don't want it to happen? Maybe Brody Flight Sim might happen at some point. We'll see. How's the stream going, by the way? Can everybody hear me, see me? Smooth, not choppy? Hopefully not all of my bandwidth is being taken up by streaming the game on ESPN+. And you know what? Full disclosure here on Sharks Night Shift. Let me bring that back. I've hesitated to do a lot of live streams in years past because for the national games, it was an NBC product. And I also like rest. I like sitting on the couch, having a beer, watching a game. It's not to say I don't like doing this because I'm here and that's what it's all about. But I like the opportunity to kind of chill out. Now the fact that it's ESPN product tonight and for these nationally televised streams. Wait, is it a nationally televised stream? Wouldn't it be like a worldwide stream like this YouTube video? I'm just going to take advantage of the opportunity to, do a YouTube live stream here and provide you with some intermission segments. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to keep the stream going here for the third period. And I'm also going to bring you post-game reaction straight from the Sharks dressing room. Well, from outside the Sharks dressing room. Wherever they do the Zoom today or tonight, I will have all the Sharks post-game interviews for you right here on this very stream. So I'll be sticking around third period, a little bit of post-game. We'll do kind of a post-game and then sign off. That's kind of the plan here. Vegas is not going to have a first-round pick for the... Oh, sorry, let me go back to the chat. Vegas is not going to have a first-round pick for the next 3 years, says J95. Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe kind of selling their soul a little bit if that's what the Eichel negotiations are about. And, you know, it's kind of interesting how Vegas started and they had all these mid-level players and none of them were contract killers, you know, like, but all of a sudden then Las Vegas has success and then you want to keep those guys. And then to do that, you know, the salary cap starts to become an issue and draft picks. I mean, they jumped in the fast lane so quickly that they never had to really ramp into things that now they're having to make, like a decision of how many draft picks are they going to give away to get a Jack Eichel. Good to see the Sharks skating so hard. Tommy, I totally agree. I was very encouraged by that first period. Alicia saying the hurdle line is on fire tonight. I love the way that Balcers found him for that goal. Kind of like, you know, skating right down Broadway, right up the slot, was able to finish. And Zach, I agree with you. Bob Bugner, you know, well, first off, he's not even getting to enjoy this in person. I also mentioned this, and I'll probably reframe it again on Thursday when we're back on television. All the Shark players who are on the COVID list, I mean, of course they're watching the game. They have no other option than to watch our broadcast here locally. So I kind of said, hey, shout out to all the Sharks. I hope you're doing okay. But that's kind of an interesting scenario. You're never saying hi to, you know, players on the team that are watching the broadcast. Tim, I'm glad you like that. The Ryan Merkley, like Dan Boyle comparison. You know, like I said, undersized, you can see the smarts, you can see the comfort with the puck, probably a lot of offensive prowess. I mean, it was mentioned by Buchagras on the broadcast at a lot of levels. He's been an offensive point producer, and hopefully that translates. I'm really looking forward to what happens next. Now, I know and I understand that, you know, the call-up here was not premature, but it wasn't, hey, we think this is the day that's perfect for you. It was more like, we need you. We know you even played last Friday night, and it's Saturday, and we need you because we're short on guys. So not the most optimal, you know, circumstances in breaking in and having that official first game, but watching him tonight through the first 40, tell me he's not ready. You know, maybe it's a good thing, too, to not be prepared for that moment, to know that it's coming, to overthink it, you know? It's Corona, 29. Loving the look of the new guys, showing a lot of promise for the future. I agree. And like I said, against all odds, you would not have a lot of these names in the lineup tonight optimally, right? You just wouldn't. It's the nature of what they're up against, and you know, it is super encouraging. Now, I also say that with the grain of salt that, you know, young guys, when they get called up, and Drew Remenda pointed this out so eloquently the other night, you know, it's one thing to earn your promotion to the NHL. And quite honestly, the same goes with Major League Baseball, the NBA, NFL. I guess in the NFL, though, I mean, you're promoted for maybe practice squad. But the point is that it is an honor to get that opportunity. But the hardest part about being a professional athlete is staying there, keeping your job, sticking, being consistent for your team, being predictable for your team. So I think to see in a short spurt what a lot of these guys are capable of, and look, we could go back to the kind of the big three that made opening night, Dahlin, Weatherby, and Eklund, and they've all had varying levels of, you know, ebbs and flows. Honestly, Dahlin looks the best. At least he's getting the most results out of all those three. But Weatherby has been a fantastic centerman for this team. Ideally, he's your fourth-line center. He's winning a lot of draws. He's solidifying the depth of the lineup. And Eklund, I think, has been making a lot of nice plays. Like, I think you've seen that tonight. a lot of nice nifty passing, and the whole size thing and maturity thing, that will all take care of itself. I mean, if you're seeing some of these rough tools to begin with, it's super encouraging. Now, there's a whole question on him about the 10-game thing and, going back to Europe. And I feel like the situation has changed as such that I don't know if sending him back now is the best move because, well, number one, your team needs you. Number two, it's not like he hasn't established himself. I mean, you can see he's not struggling, right? Clearly not struggling. Maybe not, ideally where you want him, but he's not struggling. So, and I made a video on this the other day, and I said there's nothing wrong with taking your time, like to get this right. And I still believe that. But I think as my thoughts have matured on this, what I've realized is that, it's okay to keep him over here. Maybe a trip to the Barracuda is more prudent, if that's necessary. At 19 years old, I mean, he just turned 19. And in this league against, the best in the world who have been doing it for years and years and are physically more developed than him and have, way more experience at a lot of different levels. So I'm highly encouraged by what I've seen from him. And my school of thought at this point is, unless there's some obvious reason to send him back or to not keep him on this contract after 9 games before it hits 10, then I say you keep him around. But yeah, it's a business decision too. Let's be honest. It's personal for him. Sharks want the best for him, but it's also, the long term of this too. And only they know best. Sharks Fever, stream the game. I absolutely cannot do that. I like not being fired and getting in trouble. It is on my iPad here, which I'm going to keep literally that small the entire time. I never even thought about how I was going to do this, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, I'm going to watch this third period with you guys, and I'm kind of even scared to keep the volume up because I'm worried that some of that, oh, I just closed it like a dummy. I'm worried that some of that might tag me for copyright stuff. So, I mean, it's possible that I could sit here and stream it, talk about the game a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'll take a break for a second. Eventually I will have to set up the Zoom call so that you can hear the players in the post-game interviews. Sharks out shooting Buffalo by 2. I mean, I don't think there's any, low shot count, 20 shots just into the third period. But I think, 5-6 grade A chances by the Sharks. I think the Sharks have definitely outchanced Buffalo in this game in terms of the really good ones. How about this? Oh, a Dahlin and a Dahlin in the same game. Broadcaster's worst nightmare, huh? All right, let's whoa, there's a lot of comments here. So, you know what? Let me take some time to do that. I always find myself behind the curve on that, and let me get to that. Oh, man, it's good to have comments, though. You know what, Ben? Don't hate the announcers on the game. Bush and Bucci, I mean, quality stuff, what they're doing. I have a video out on this here on the channel. It is nearly impossible to be likable as a national announcer to all the different teams you do because you're playing the game both ways. You're happy for both teams. You're definitely not as versed on the home team as the home announcers are. It's an impossible situation. So I'll be honest, I like them. I think this is a casual, like, hockey fans broadcast. I've always liked Bush, and watching and hearing Bucci do play-by-play, I didn't have much of it to go on, and what I've seen so far, I definitely like. Yeah, Buffalo is not the same Sabres team of the last couple of years, or is it Sabres? Now that I've watched The Office, like Sabre, is that what it was? Sabre who bought him? Oh, Buffalo with a really good chance. Reimer with a heck of a stop. Now here's going to be the problem on my iPad. It's so small, and I'm going to have to lean in to see who actually got that chance. I don't intend to really just sit here and do play-by-play. I don't want that to happen. I'm going to keep an eye on the game, obviously. Yeah, Hurdle's line has been great. Oh, Ben, you don't like the way they pronounce, they say Thomas Hurdle instead of Tomash. Funny story about that. When he came over, and in that first season, I think it was 13 Yeah, 13-14, if I'm right. Or was it 12-13? No, I think it was 13-14. He had that 4-goal game, and before that, I guess Drew asked Tomasz. He said, "How do you pronounce your first name?" And he goes, Tomasz. And Drew goes, "Yeah, well, whatever. I'll call you whatever." And then that night he scored 4 goals. And then Drew goes, "You know what? I'm going to call you Tomasz." Thought that was pretty funny. And no one hurts over the years. You want to get the name right. Tomasz Hertl, which, that's kind of the test, right? If you're a Sharks fan and you hear somebody say, "Oh, it's Thomas Hertl," you're like, yeah, it's not, but I'm not going to bust anybody on that. Well, Hayden, ESPN and the whole West Coast bias, they're out east. Everything we do out here is past their bedtime usually. I understand it. Like it's a time zone thing. And I wish there was like a 50-50 split of the country, of their company. I know they have an LA headquarters and base, but clearly everything they do is Bristol, Connecticut. But that's not anything new, and that's certainly not just hockey. And yes, Sharks Fever, I know the Jumbo's homecoming game, is that in March, like March 15th or 10th or something like that? It is not a game that we're going to be able to do. Can you imagine? I'll probably have to be there. I probably have to witness this. Jumbo back at the tank as an opponent. Now, clearly when he was with the Bruins many, many years ago, it's not his first time visiting SAP Center, but all that's happened since, my goodness, I just hope that Patty Marleau is in the league by the time that Jumbo comes out west. Still a 3-2 game. We're coming up on 5 minutes into the third period. And just a reminder, I'm going to be doing this live stream through the third period. And then also for the post-game stuff. I may need a second just to reset and get the Zoom going up here so everybody can see it. But I will, want to hear from the players. I imagine that John McLean, the acting head coach, is going to get some comments in, and Hertl will probably talk, and Dahlin will probably talk. Eklund is even on plus-minus on good and bad plays. Yeah, and I think, that's, I know we were talking about Eklund before specifically, like, how does he look? Comfortable, confident. You're right. There are enough things that give you those pluses, and then maybe there's a couple minuses, or maybe just the lack of, finish or execution.Maybe some of those are the minuses. But if you were going to kind of do your own plus minus of plays, he's probably right around even, if not maybe a shade on the plus side. Despite the fact that he's still looking for, that first goal. I miss the Sharks broadcasters too. Look, any Sharks game I watch that, somebody else is calling besides Honor, it's an opportunity for me to appreciate Randy and Hetty and Drew and Jamie Bakers of the world. You know what I'm saying? All of the great people who have been able to bring us games over the years. Yeah, Thomas, I agree. It's awesome when, Merkley's a great story in that sense of, probably feeling like last year, hey, guys, I'm here. When am I going to get that chance? Oh, how about that? Is that a Ferraro goal? See, I was not paying attention, and I hope I'm not ahead of too many people here in the stream. Let's get a good look at the replay here. Oh, well, Mario's high-fiving the boys, so it must have been. He's been all over this game. And how many minutes has he played? As I said before, he was already 18 minutes going into the third period. Let's see what happened here. Oh, did he just... Ooh, a clapper from the high slot, one-timer. How about that? Good for Mario Ferraro. All right, 4-2. So that's a little insurance in this game here. Hang on a second as I reset and give you the look here, the updated look at the score. And boom, there we go. By the way, this is the NHL's media access stuff. These are the stat sheets that I've been using these forever, all 13 years. I've been doing this. They haven't changed. They've looked this very same the entire way. So 6:02 is when you're going to see that Ferraro goal pop up there, and good for Mario. Was, like I said, I felt like more in the first period, he and Bernsey were all over this game, and for a pair that's going to play a lion's share of minutes. Glad to see them have success. So it's 4-2, and look, the Sharks are still creating 3-on-2 chance there. Didn't get a shot off. Let's go back to the minutes here. Let me just refresh this for 1 second. So, oh yeah, look at this. Mario, 22 minutes. I mean, and Burnsy's close to him, but nobody's close to them. Megna, honestly, I didn't know that he played 18 minutes. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully, but that's a higher count than I would have estimated for him. But my goodness, there's 12 and a half minutes left to go in this game. I mean, Mario's easily going to get to 30 minutes, right? See if I update this, if it's even changed. And these stats are near real time. They get updated every little bit. Well, great. I mean, this now offers us the opportunity probably to hear from Mario in a post-game situation. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, this is the, let me see, how is the stream health doing? The viewership is good. All right, we're cooking here. All right. Again, I've not done a lot of these during the game streams, but so we're doing here tonight. All right, so let's bring this back here. Let's go back to the chat. Am I happy that the Astros choked? And did they choke? They put up a fight. They put up a fight. Yes. Oh, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, I mean, probably better that Atlanta won. Just in terms of the players on that team, Stephen Vogt, my good buddy Stephen Vogt, is going to get a World Series ring. Ron Washington is going to get a World Series ring. How could I be disappointed with those two and that situation? Let me see here. Felix, I have a two-part question regarding what's taken place in the past couple days in the hockey world. Okay, so bear with me. The problem is, Felix, I got to go find all the find all the chat. Let me find your comments here because there's a lot of other ones in between. I don't see what your next comment was. Seems like there's a COVID rotation between all the players. And look, I'm not going to try and make sense of, for example, how somebody could be out the other day, out of the game, and then tonight they're in, as in Dahlin, or Timo Meier was in the other day and now he's out. And I don't know, if symptoms and the testing takes a little while to comprehend. And by that, I mean, like, if you carry this virus and it's not detectable until testing of a certain time, or look, that's way beyond my knowledge, my direct knowledge of it. But I clearly can tell you that I don't mind. I really don't mind every professional sports league, every employer across the country, across the world for that matter, being a little bit more cautious and protective rather than aggressive and I don't care. If it means player X has to sit out tonight, and in reality, if it's just questionable, like if there's any doubt, why do you want to force that? Why do you want to make this worse now on all these players, their families, the coaches, the Buffalo Sabres? Does that make sense? You have the ability to play it smart. And if that means, if you don't know the answer to something, play it safe. Play the safest route. I do not mind that. I know teams hate that. They're competitive. They want every lost advantage. Individuals don't like the fact that maybe they didn't even do anything wrong and they're fine, but maybe they're not. So all of this is fluid. This is not black and white. This is not easy. And I don't fault anybody in these situations who doesn't know, or the teams who are having, a lot of times like, well, when did you know about this? Or like everybody's trying to just get this right and cover their butts and be right about it. So it's difficult, and yeah, Salvador, I mean, it's a bit concerning for the Sharks. You don't know how long this effect is going to linger. Like Timo Meier and LeBanc now, like what does that mean? Are they just starting this for 2 weeks? And then, as I said before, players who are on the protocol, they can't be around the team. They can't be at an ice rink. They can't stay physically fit. And that's assuming that they're just asymptomatic. How about players who are really feeling ill for the better part of 2 weeks? And the other question that gets asked, and it's a difficult one for anybody to field, is, well, how is this happening if all the players are vaccinated? Now, I mean, we've been told they all are, so there's, and I think that's why did my stream pause? That's obviously, you have to believe, right, what they're saying. I mean, I don't know that that's where the questions begin here, but I think that's an element. I think we also understand that the vaccines don't completely stop this. And I mean, we also understand that these players are exposing themselves to travel, hotels, airplanes, restaurants, other teams' players who are also doing the same thing, like they're sweating and breathing and dripping all over each other and spitting on the ice. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not completely shocking that this is like one of the hardest. They're in a dressing room, tight quarters, on a team bus. So this is probably going to continue for a certain time. I don't know how long. It's hard to rid a team of this midstream. And then how about all the cross-contamination? Then you bring in Barracuda players and trainers, and then you don't want that team getting sick. And then, you see how the domino effect happens here. You're right. It does seem like that's the case. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions about this, but I think if you look at the bare basics of it, the team is trying to do the players justice and their families and keep them safe and make this a respectable situation instead of something that they regret, days and weeks down the line. See what else we got here. Hey, Mr. Brazil. Castro Valley High School 1994 original Sharks, and they played at the Cow Palace. Can I post a list of my audio equipment? Wow. Well, we'll change subjects here because they go to break for just a second. I guess I could probably post that somewhere. I mean, if you're interested right now, I could also kind of just give you the signal chain, Neumann U87 AI microphone into Universal Audio Apollo Twin X. There's SSL preamp, LA2A compression. There's a Neve EQ in there. That's pretty much it. Then it comes out of here. It goes into the mixing board. A couple fine tweaks here. It's also how I monitor everything through the headphone, gets sent out to a headphone amp. And then that goes from the mixing desk into the A10 Mini Pro ISO, which I know is not really the audio part of this, but that's how everything in the stream goes through this guy. So I know, probably not as interesting as everybody else would hope for, but I hope that answered your question. Let me see here. Does ESPN use a higher definition broadcast? That's a great question, Stephen. And I forgot I'm on the wrong camera here. I don't know what their specs are. I mean, tonight's game could be, for example, produced in 4K, produced that way, but not delivered that way. Clearly, anybody live streaming it is not seeing it in 4K, at least and if you are, tell me how to do it. Well, I don't have a 4K, but I don't think that's possible. So I think it might even be produced a little bit in higher res, but then downscaled to probably 1080. This doesn't look like a 720 to me. I was watching it. Good little poke save there by Reimer. Oh, but he got drilled. Boy, I wasn't watching that before. I kind of saw that out of the corner of my eye. So yeah, it might be, to answer your question. Yeah, and Makar, that's what I was saying before. I think he probably, at this point, where the Sharks are at, what they need, what he's shown, he's not like far off. So I think, optimally, you'd like a little bit more flexibility in this decision, but I think there's been enough to make you feel pretty good about keeping him in the NHL. Am I in my basement? Basically. Yeah, basically. It does kind of look like that, doesn't it? Bring Sharky in the studio when the Sharks are back on the road. No, thanks, Zach. Just not interested. I've had enough of him over the years. I'll see him when I see him. I've appreciated, the pandemic's been terrible. in so many ways. It's been awful. It's ruined a lot of things, and we've lost lives, and there's no joking about that. But there is joking about the fact that it has also not put me in the same room as Sharky for all this time, and I'm appreciative of that. I don't want to get hit with silly string. I don't need all those antics. Okay, here, Felix, now I see your question here, and I didn't pre-read it, but I finally think this is what you're getting at. As a pregame, intermission, postgame host, and an avid sports fan, how do you feel when news about toxic work environments continues to inundate the field I love? Oh, for example, the Blackhawks scandal. You know, Felix, it certainly is a downer, and I hope that comes with at least a little bit of weight to let me explain this. You know, the wins and losses of teams and seasons and sports, like the wins and losses, after all these years and covering it professionally, they don't really hit maybe like they do to a fan. But the personal side, these types of stories, and what the Blackhawks seemed like they might have done in completely covering up something that was so apparent that needed attention and needed assistance on, and it's amazing. So to answer your question, yeah, it's a huge bummer. And I say that and I hope you understand, it gets to me. At the same token, do I think stuff like this exists in a lot of different work environments? Sports is a microcosm of life. And I'm not, the Sharks scored again, right when I'm trying to be serious here. So let me close out this thought. Tommy Hurdle. Sports represents life, and so I'm not surprised that, would you think sports was immune from these types of situations and stories? But yeah, I feel kind of, and then I start to get jaded about, well, is this just one of 100 stories, or is this one of 5 stories? How bigger is the problem all the time? I start to go down that rabbit hole too, and it does not lead me to great places or, really feeling good about things. So hopefully I answered that question, Felix. All right, how about this? We got a 5-2 hockey game, and I'm not here to say that I'm not here to say we know what the end result is going to be, but I like the odds of a 5-2 game. Oh, I didn't even have to refresh it there. So Tomas Hurdle, don't call him Thomas Hurdle. 5th goal of the season. So let's do the recap here. 2 on opening night against the Jets. 1 last game. And then 2 more tonight. And so a 5-2 lead with 8 minutes about left in this game. And the Sabres are on the second half of a back-to-back, right? I think that's the case. I'm not saying they look tired tonight, but I'm saying, looking at the way Hurdle scored right there, this team's got some legs. This team's got some jump. This team is pleasantly surprising. Now, when I say that surprising, should it be? I mean, they have some of the right tools. They've got a roster and a salary cap that should reflect kind of what they're doing, but they had not been doing this. They had not started a season like this. I think the best way I put it out of the gate was look at chunks of periods or like a 10-period span, a 12-period span. A lot of times the Sharks are the better team for 9 out of those 12 periods, those 4 games. When in the last couple of years have they been the better team for extended periods of time or portions of sequences? They have not. This has been a season where it's not like, oh, they had one good period tonight, they won the game, they didn't deserve it, but they got the result. This is like, they look like a 5-2 in the lead team tonight. Oh, and I just realized, that number, which I'm not going to say right there because I don't want it to change, excuse me, 2 or fewer. I actually had to cough at first, in all fairness. But there you go. I mean, that is usually a recipe for success. I will say no more about that until I actually get to until I actually get to the post-game stuff here. All right. Okay, so Felix, good. Answered your question. And thank you for asking, something that was important and relevant and, off topic a little bit, but on topic as well, too. Greg, what were you saying about that hurdle line tonight? I know you said that a while ago. Oh, rocket scientist. And I did notice, it does look a little bit light there. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that have nothing to do with hockey. I think it's the nature of the world and where we're at, the community of the Bay Area in general. So we can have that full conversation at a different time. Oh, another one. Also, do you ever question your love for sports, especially during a time of inclusivity where some organizations seem to fall flat? Okay, so I think what you're doing is adding on to like the Blackhawks situation, if that's kind of a prime example. I think, Felix, what has happened to me, and this is probably doesn't deserve a long explanation because it's unique to me because I work in this business and I know most people watching this don't. It has gone from sports to a business for me so many years ago that, like I said, I think some of the sparkle to it has already been long lost, so that when I do see and hear something like this, I'm kind of not as surprised, if that makes sense. So I think like sports can do better, but I think a lot of areas of life and of business and of people can do better. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Ryan, I think if Evander came back with a leadership kind of attitude, it would be a huge positive thing. And Ryan, honestly, I've been trying to get it just to read on where that's at, what to expect. They have made really zero mention of where's he at, what's he doing. I mean, he's on a 21-game suspension. Is tonight game 10? If I lost track of time. Hang on a second now. This is going to bother me. I have to take one thing off the screen to get to another thing here. Is it? Oh, no. Tonight's game 9. Yep, there you go. See, this is how I look. It's game 9, home game number 4. So anyway, but going back to Evander for a second, it's we're coming up on basically the halfway point of the suspension, and we don't even know how it's going to play out, what comes next, what the team wants, what the players want. Like, is Evander ready? Is this going to happen or not? And I heard it suggested that one way the gap, if there's really a gap between Evander and his teammates and everybody else, one way that a gap could be bridged would be to have him start playing games for the Barracuda. Now that's, I get it. Like that's kind of like, that's a penalty maybe, like that. He clearly does not belong in the AHL. Like his playing skills on the ice do not warrant being in that situation. But if it's kind of worked into, and I don't want to say a rehab assignment, but kind of like a training camp assignment, and that way he's playing but not with the Sharks, and that gives him time to warm up, and that gives the team time to bridge the gap. I don't even know if this is possible, if it's a stupid idea, if it's a great idea. I mean, I've just heard this, so I don't know. Why do I keep looking up there when the camera's actually over here? I don't know. I honestly don't know how this is going to go. But I think there is something to that. Like they're going to have to do something. I don't think it simply happens like, hey, welcome back. You're in the lineup tonight. Well, physically, unless he's been preparing and getting ready for the season individually, which is tough. I don't know how it happens, but I certainly think that there is some healing to do there between he and teammates, and just based on all the things that have been said and have gone unsaid. I have a video here on YouTube which has gotten a ton of views. It was just the first time that Shark players commented on his 21-game suspension, and they're just, the body language probably says more than the actual comments. And what do I mean by that? There's just not, there's not an attachment like, oh, can't wait to have him back, and granted, given the situation and the background and things that, he's been dealing with and have been put out there, I get it. Players, it's a weird position to put his teammates in to talk about that. I agree. I feel weird even talking about this right now, because it's not my personal life. So anyway, just as it relates from a team perspective here, I want to get it back to that. That's really the only area that I should be commenting on this. I just think there is some bridging to be done, and however it happens, I'm interested to see. All right, sorry, let's go back to the comments here. And I am so far behind on the comments here. The team looks different. More gusto, Kadoji. I like that one. Would I keep Merkley on the main roster if he continues to shine? Hey, look, it's the same reason why Reimer got the start again tonight, right? He was so good against Winnipeg, and it's Aiden Hill's turn right now. But if Reimer keeps this a 5-2 game, how do you not start Reimer on Thursday? Now, at some point, you don't want Hill to get iced out. You don't want him to get rusty. I totally understand that also. But, you play hot hands. And if like I said, if Ryan Merkley really steps up and continues to develop his chance that he was waiting for and happened by necessity, it ultimately is here, and it doesn't matter how it arrived. All right. Felix, thank you for saying that. Stream is looking good. Kadoji, I appreciate that. Oh, I love the confidence here by Dylan. When we sign Tomas Hertl, throw me your best guess at his contract terms. Well, so Dylan, let me answer it like this. Dollar amount and years are both going to be along the lines of, what you would probably guess at the time. And I don't know, I'd have to look at the comps on this, but what I think is truly going to matter is, does all of that get driven up? Is it going to be a high number, or is it going to be an exceptionally high number because it got driven up by competition? Oh, man. Did Skinner just score a Sabres third goal? See, that's not good, and that's not fun, because now I can't do it. I can't say 2 or fewer.
Number 3.
Oh, their third goal. I was okay when they were on.
Number 2.
But not when they're at.
Number 3.
This would be good for 3 stars, by the way. So, minute 47 left in the game. You got a 2-goal lead. Look, you're fine. You didn't want that to happen. Clamp down in these final 100 seconds. Obviously, Buffalo's going to put a push on here. I could do 3 stars like this.
Number 1.
For me right now, Tomas Hertl.
Number 2.
Mario Ferraro. Amount of minutes he's played and getting a goal tonight. And then
number 3.
Dahlin and Reimer, maybe? I don't know. All right, Sabres pulled their goalie. Now I'm not gonna do play-by-play here, but you know what? I'm gonna take the question off the screen here. I'm sorry, Dylan. I cut out because we've reached a critical moment in the hockey game here. The final minute, and it's a minute left. You're up by 2. Sabres here, a little 6-on-5. You got Ferraro out there playing probably his 30th minute of the game. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I will load up the Zoom in a second. And usually it's like 5 minutes after the game ends. That it's crazy. I don't even know because I'm usually doing a post-game show. But it's about 5 minutes, and then coach and players will come out and talk. And I'll have that all here for you on the live stream. For those of you that have stuck around, I greatly appreciate it. All right. You know what? I'll save more questions for a bit. let me get the Zoom going here at the same time as as you guys watch the game. Yeah, you don't need my commentary right now. Let me just get this going here. Ooh, it's quiet when I don't talk. I mean, I could actually take calls later if that interests you guys. I'm so far behind on the live chat, though. I'm so bad at that. All right, let me just make sure that I wasn't putting that up on the screen. That would not have been great. All right, gonna launch Zoom. Connecting. Oh, there we go. The host will let me in soon. All right, let me set that up so I can do that. All right, I think we're in pretty good shape here. I think we are in pretty good shape. Okay. 8.6 seconds left. You're up by 2. This thing's over. Sharks back on a little win streak. How about that? So has it gone win 4, lose 3, win 2? Yes, it has. And all of a sudden, you're halfway through this homestand. You play Thursday and Saturday still for 5 in a row. There you go. Sharks win 5-3. Did they score in every period, right? It's also important. It's funny, I didn't even do my my typical game log sheet because I just tried to memorize everything tonight. But yeah, there you go. Should I revise what I said before? Let's do my 3 stars.
Number 3.
Jonathan Dahlen, first game back, early goal, set the tone. Ooh, there was a Ryan Clough jersey there. Jonathan Dahlen for me.
Number 2.
Oh, but how about Merkley? Because Hurdle's number 1. Merkley number 2. But I said Mario is number 2. Oh man, see, this is why I don't do it. Who are going to be the 3 stars? I mean, I know who.
Number 1.
That's number 48. All right, so look at he just got told. Hurdle just got told he's number 1. Mario's out there. He's number probably 2. And Merkley's number 3. There you go. I was pretty close. Not too bad. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious. So, all right, looks like here. Oh, the old Zoom just popped up. This meeting is being recorded. Got it. Okay. Looks like I have muted myself, which is good. Because nobody wants to hear me talking during this press conference. And also my camera was off. I just wanted to make sure that was the case. All right. So this is going to be great. This is a total one-man band, one-man operation here. But in a matter of moments. Now, let me see. Let me try this here. I know all of this is... Oh, not that. Can I do... Oh, look at that. So I can watch... Yeah, this is good. Sorry, by the way, I didn't plan any of this. I'm just kind of doing it on the fly. Also, obviously, want to make sure that you can hear it when it pops up. But we'll be keeping an eye on the podium here. Should I also go back to the stats for a second? Oh, looks like Sharks PR there. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll go back to that in just a second. Let me bring up some of the final tallies here. Let's go to the stats. Brazil. Stuff I like to look at after the game. Shots, pretty close, 28-27 favoring Buffalo. Oh my goodness, look at the Sharks in the faceoff circle. 63-37%. That's not Curtis Brown's Buffalo Sabres right there. They got handled pretty well on the dots. And Bonino won 8, lost 6. Weatherby won 5, lost 3. Logan won 9. Good to have him back, by the way. Hurdle, oh my goodness, won 10 and lost 3 draws. What a monster on the dots. And Mario was so close. I told you, I thought he'd play 30 tonight. 29-18 and Burnsy at 26-59. Hey, you know what? When you're down multiple, top 4 and every night defensemen, that is just going to be how it goes. And I don't want to say like for better or worse. I love to see the fact that this team right now has other players jumping up into the mix. I'm sorry that my Geocron keeps popping up there. That's a different feed. Doing something else with that. I guess I can turn my iPad off now. I should probably sit here and take some questions too while we wait. You guys want to do that? Let me make sure my volume is up on this Zoom call so that when it does happen, we can hear it. See, nope. Can't hear it. Give me 1 second. I know this is not your typical postgame show. I wonder why I can't hear it. All right, give me 1 second here, everybody. I apologize that this is not what I wanted to be doing right now. I'm trying to get to... Oh, wait a second. All right, so there it is. I just don't know why I have to take off. Oh, there we go. That was really weird. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I wasted a minute of your time on that. But yeah, we will be, in case you're wondering why I was doing that, we will be hearing from all the Sharks here on this very feed in just a second. No, stop doing that. Stop going to that. So I will have that. Okay, I said I wanted to do a couple questions here. Let me buzz through the live chat. Oh, wait. Looks like somebody's sitting down. Here's the captain. Let's get to
recording in progress.
Let's get to Logan here.
And we have Logan Couture here. If anyone has any questions, let's go ahead and get started.
I'll just be quiet.
All right, we can start with Curtis.
Logan, you saw Saturday's game. What was it like to be a part of tonight's game and the effort that you guys put forth?
I talked to a few of the guys, obviously, about Saturday and how chaotic that day was in general. And today was pretty similar. We showed up at the rink today, and we're testing, and you hear the team was out, and Razor's out. And, you're just waiting to see if anyone tests positive in that rapid test in the morning. So crazy. You don't even know who's going to be playing that night. We're glad to see Dallas is back, and then I felt all right to play. And just chaotic, but proud of the effort again. Found a way. We went down to 5D, I think, early in that second period, or maybe even halfway through that second period. And credit to those guys back there. They found a way. It wasn't pretty the whole game, but found a way. Goaltending was huge, and massive plays by Tommy Hurdle there, scoring some big goals.
What can you say about the way Tomas Hurdle and his line played tonight?
Yeah, they played great. They had a lot of looks. Rudy was really good. He was good. Tommy was good, obviously, and Barb's made some nifty plays in tight with pucks, and they could have had a few more. So it was great to see. When we have contributions throughout our lineup, I like our chances every night.
Shane?
Hey, Logan, can you talk about Mario Ferraro's effort tonight? You guys are down 5 demon. He played 29 minutes, a career high for him. Just talk about just his, arrival as, he did this last year too, as just the top flight NHL defenseman.
Look at him smiling.
That makes sense because he wasn't as loud as he normally is in the room there. So maybe he's a little tired tonight. But no, he was great. He he can shoot the puck hard, and we try and tell him, shoot it a little bit more, but it's tough because I know he's got Burnsy yelling at him for the puck all the time. But blew that one through everyone there, and he's a great skater, and he works so hard all over the ice. He's easy to play with. He's a guy that you cheer for, you pull for. He's a guy that has so much energy, and happy to see him play well. So happy that he's a Shark.
And I don't
shout
want
out
to
youngest of plugs on
I guess,
YouTube, by the
stress
way.
it because you guys are so early into the season, but the last couple of seasons have been really tough for you guys for different reasons. Is it fair to say that this might be the most fun that you've had as a Shark in a couple of years here?
As a captain, probably.
Not as a Shark, but I've had some pretty spectacular moments here. I'm a very fortunate person to play in this organization, but definitely in the last 2-3 years,
as a captain,
the conference finals was fun, but difficult year at different times that year. But last 2 years have been tough, physically, mentally for me. Some days are tough coming to the rink, and a lot going on. So this is fun. I like our group. Guys show up and they work hard, feed off each other, cheer for each other. Everyone's pulling the rope in the same way. No one's going individual ways, and it's just a lot of fun. Wake up in the morning and you're just happy to get to the rink and be with the guys, and that's the way it should be,
Love to hear it that way.
Logan, you've seen Ryan Merkley now since the organization drafted him. How have you seen him grow as a player and maybe as an individual?
Yeah, individual first. Merck's has shown up, and I've gotten along with him great from day one. Obviously, there's always rumors and stuff about players when they're drafted, but he's come in here, and at least at the camp, he's worked extremely hard, and he spent a summer here to train and work out, and then this summer he worked hard. Where I think he was in Detroit or somewhere working hard, and came to camp, and I thought he had a really good training camp. I thought he played really well in preseason, and he's played excellent the 2 games with us. He practices hard. So he's changed his work ethic a little bit in that sense. He's learning how to be a pro. I think last year was a learning experience for him. Obviously, I didn't spend a lot of time with him, but just talking to guys down there in the CUDA with him, I think Mags is a big help for him. I think someone like him who's played a lot of pro games, got experience. He's a calming partner, and I think having Mags with him here is helping Merckx, but nothing to take away from him. He's played extremely well for us.
How impressive is it that, you guys lose 4 of your 6D, and in the last 2 games, there really have been very few scoring chances against and clearing out the front of the net. How impressive is it they're doing that?
Yeah, it's, credit to the organization, really. Credit to the guys, first of all. They've shown up here and worked extremely hard, and they're thrilled to play in the NHL, and they've played very, very well for us. But to have this many good quality depth players, guys that can step in and play in NHL games and play well, is a testament, I think, to the scouting here and in this organization.
Michael?
All right, Logan, as captain the last few years, how bizarre has it been this year with having your coach out, having multiple players out, and this is all impromptu, and then still be playing well at this point? So how's this year been so far for you?
Yeah, it's different. It's difficult. But last year we had 1 case in the whole season. Not many of our players have had COVID, and just kind of sitting around this summer thinking, like, if someone gets it, there's a good chance that it may spread. And even though everyone's got the vaccine, unfortunately, that's what's occurred. And it's just the way it goes. A few guys are sick, a few guys aren't, but we're testing every day, and it's the luck of the draw. Every team goes through it, really. You look around the league, there's already been 4 or 5 teams that have gone through it this year. You look throughout other sports, and it's happening there too. So we got to deal with it. I said this at the start. It's going to test the depth of the organization in seasons like last year and this year. And everyone that's come into our locker room and played NHL games have played extremely well for us. And, we've won 2 in a row here, and we want to keep it going.
All right, Logan, thanks very much for your time.
All right, I'm going to see if I can pause this for a second. Well, not pause it, but I'm gonna try and mute that because I don't want it to come back super loud. Sorry for the volume adjustments there. And you saw a couple of people chatting about that too. Like, hey, some of the questions are really loud, and then Logan's mic was a little bit lower. I was trying to adjust that on the fly, but no, look, I think could you see like on Logan's response there when he was talking about Merkley, when he was talking about Mario and some of the younger players here. Looks like we got somebody else coming up maybe.
Go straight in the camera into here.
Or maybe not. Maybe they're working on some of the audio. I will mute that until I know it's coming back. In fact, let me also, should I just pull this up now? I guess I could do this and then unmute it as soon as that keeps coming up. It frustrates me. But you could see that like Logan now as a captain for the first time he feels like the ship has turned in the right direction. Like there's some momentum here. There's a group here. And it's like it's a work in progress. Clearly, they're not going to probably win the division like this right now. I mean, at this juncture, but you can see it in his eyes, the way he's talking, and kind of the way he had been for the last 2 years, and knowing that we just don't have it and it's not going in the right direction. All right, here's Hertz. Let me unmute this for a second and get this going. Still breathing heavy there.
Curtis?
Tomas, how fun has this been? And it's maybe just to overcome all the issues that guys have had the last few days and to pull out these 2 wins. How fun has this been?
It's actually really fun. It's still kind of crazy because, like we're losing some guys and it's not easy, because you don't know what will come next. But still, amazing effort for every guy on the ice, with Framer last 2 games. I think we deserve all 4 points. I'm really, I saying again, proud of the guys, but, it's just great team effort. It wasn't easy. We got like 6-7 guys. They like come right away from Barracuda, but, a couple of first games, but everybody play well. It's not just you normally got one guy and other, but like you got 6-7 new guys, but everybody worked hard, and that's why we won last 2 games.
Can you talk about your second goal?
Yeah, like when you got one, like I feel like last couple of games pretty good, so you kind of have feeling I actually did the move early in the game, and I just try again. And actually after the move, I was first looking for like maybe Rudy back door, but like kind of puck slip, so I just try get it to the net and it got in. But it's when you got like one in and you just feel good last couple of games, so that's going, so you can try more stuff and you're more confident.
Kevin?
He's tried some things over the years.
Thomas, what would you say about the defense core when you lose 4 of your top 6 and these 4 guys jump in, and really there have been very few scoring chances against the last 2 games?
Yeah, it's actually today we lost, I think Hatak last pair, so we got like five guys again playing D, and it's not easy when you lose 4, main guys in D zone, because it's just like you never know what can happen, but all 4 guys step up, play well, Mario and Burnsy like lead the way, but they really play well, Merckx make you play it, so he deserves 1 goal, but there's no one guy he didn't play well, try making moves, so it's pretty impressive from them, just jump in, without like just like that, so it's really helped us, and I don't think we give up that much, but just that's why, because we play all together like one line, every line play just 5-man unit, so it's great to see.
Cheng? Tommy, don't want to over stress this because we're so early in the season, but is it fair to say that this is the most fun that you've had as a Shark in the last couple of seasons? Last 2 seasons have been pretty tough overall for you guys.
Yeah, for sure, because we get always tough start, and also we've been like right away from the first like hunting point, behind, and it's tough. But when you now, like up a couple points, you're top in division, feel good about our game, and
that's a good point,
and play good hockey, The room is, just all together, and every guy's excited just playing. Nobody cares who score, just work hard. Some guys have a little more luck. Some guys just like do something extra, and that's why we've been in games. So, right away from, first day preseason, we have a lot of fun, and that's why we're winning games even like that, in tough situation, because nobody knows what will happen next, and what, we lost a lot of good guys, for, who knows, couple days or
weeks
or like that, but everybody who just jumped. It's really fun right now, and I'm so happy we're winning. But we have to keep going because it's just start of the season still.
And you said that you did the same move twice. Which goal of yours did you like better tonight?
I'm just happy I score. It was for sure expected because it was all coaches line first couple of games. So it was nice to get my line going and in the last couple of games score some goals too. So I'm just happy put the puck in the net. But I'm happy for every single goal on the ice. And especially when it's like help to win the game. So that's what matters most for me.
Michael.
Tomas, you're 1 goal away from a hat trick, 5 goals overall. How important is it for you to be a great goal scorer this year since your leading goal scorer is not here right now?
Yeah, I just say that I want to help the team, and we have to always find a way, like who will, because we need for sure goals, and maybe we don't have that many goal scorer like we used to have, but we have just all 20 guys working together, and now it's it was for Timo's coming, for Kush, now Dolly, now can be me next time, can be Bones and other guys. So we not just 1-2 guys team, we just 20 guys team, and that's why we're winning right now. So for me it's just play hard and and help the team win, but for sure from my line it's expected a little more, and I think last 3-4 games was way better and it's going more better direction. So again, next game can be Bones line again, Kuch, but
Bonino,
we just everybody works hard, and somebody gets like me tonight with some goals, but it's all about the team right now.
All right, Tomas, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
I believe we're going to have assistant coach John McLean next.
All right, sounds good. I'll leave the audio up here unless there's a bunch of talking. This is weird. This is kind of like what I do on television. Like we listen to that, we come back on camera, I make some wisecracks and chirps to Brownie, but now it's just here, me on, by the way, Sharks Night Shift. You're wondering, what is that? I've decided this year that, these usually it's a post-game live stream. That's too long, right? Usually when I finish the post-game show, I jump here on YouTube, I offer some additional thoughts. Tonight, I just started streaming during the game because we're not doing it, and I wanted to have some post-game reaction. I'm calling these Sharks post-game live segments Sharks Night Shift. We'll see if it sticks. We'll see if you guys like it. I did not want to use Sharks Late Night Confidential. I did not want to pay Randy Hahn the licensing fee for that. No, but in all seriousness, like, that's its own thing, and if we ever bring that back, I want it to be special. I don't want to ruin that. So I wanted to have this have its own name and be something different and separate. But anyway, look, to recap the main points, I know a lot of people have just joined as they've seen the player interviews. You've got a team that won 4 games in a row out of the gate. Highly encouraging what happened there. Then they lost 3 in a row, but quite honestly, only one of those. I mean, yeah, you dig a hole in Boston and you're down, by a couple early, but then they fought back. Like there was some redemption there. Even in Nashville, close game, goaltending battle that you couldn't you couldn't crack. Fine. The Montreal game where you got shut out 4-0, that was a little bit less encouraging. But since then, right, and just when you thought the team might lose 4 in a row, back on Saturday, because Winnipeg came in on a 4-game win streak, and the Sharks were down 7 players and their head coach. Just when you thought, oh, here we go, they're going to dig the hole deeper, they do the exact opposite. All right, let's hear from the interim head coach right now, John McLean.
We have assistant coach John McLean here. If you guys have questions, go ahead and use the hand raise function.
I could ask a question, but I'm not going to.
Go ahead, Michael.
I'm not going to do it.
Michael,
hey,
go
Coach,
ahead. You might
I'm there. Okay. All right, Coach. Of course, you have a similar name to the Bruce Willis character. Would you say these last few days have been like a movie script where it's been bizarre, but it has such a happy ending so far?
Didn't know where he was going with that.
And you know what? It's been good. I mean, and the credit goes to the players. I mean, they've really rallied behind this here. Next man up mentality, and then the guys that are here, the veterans that have been here. And you saw it again tonight. Tommy Hurdle had another strong game. Bernsey, Mario, Cooch, and then all the other guys just chipping in, doing little things. So it's fun, and they're enjoying the the challenge of it as well. So that's always nice to see.
Shane?
John, in particular tonight, you guys did a really good job of keeping Buffalo to the outside defensively, and you guys did the same thing against Winnipeg too. What's sort of been behind that kind of defensive stand there?
Well, I mean, we've been trying to do it most of the time anyways. It's just, guys, you know what? Sometimes when you're shorthanded, if you will, not per se with
you play more simple,
numbers, but different players out of the lineup, guys. When you keep this game simple, and that's really what they've been trying to do. They've done a great job of staying above the puck, staying. The D has been doing a good job keeping everybody the outside working in cohesion as they go back, and the forwards back checking so hard. So that's been helpful, and that's something that we always want them to do it, and it's just maybe a little bit noticeable and more noticeable now because guys are really relishing this opportunity to play hard and kind of like backs against the wall, and we're a little adversity, and they're doing a great job as a unit. And
Mario Ferraro, he played a career high at 29 minutes tonight. I know Mario is new to you. What have you seen from him and just his development into top flight NHL defenseman?
He's a beauty. Yeah, and it's a credit to him. I mean, for me, seeing him the first time, you're impressed by his work ethic. People gravitate towards him. That's why he's part of the leadership group. He's a young guy. He likes to be out there. He likes to be involved. And, guys like that, or he's in tremendous shape. And, I know John Madden has full confidence in him, putting him out and using him in all different situations. Again, tonight we had a big penalty kill, and he was a big part of that, down to 5D. It was nice to see, and his energy is so contagious that the other guys pick up off that and feed off that as well.
Curtis?
John, I know you've been around the Sharks for a couple of months now, but have you learned anything about this group in the last 4 or 5 days that maybe you didn't know before?
Well, I think learning, just being here and watching, and I've noticed a good energy. The room is very, 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 very strong right now, and I like this. You can notice those things. Locker rooms, you can tell when they're a tight group, and I think they're all comfortable with one another, and they're all comfortable pushing one another, and I think that's a big thing for any time that you have success, is like they feed off one another, whether it's young guy, old guy, goalie blocking a shot, this or that. They're feeding, they're enjoying their time playing the game and being together, and that's a positive. So that's impressed me as far as like the leadership group goes.
These two games could have gone either way, really. I mean, but to come out with 2 wins
tonight, though,
how much confidence does that give this
last
group?
game could have gone either way.
I think it gives a lot of confidence, and I think it's huge for them that they understand. And again, I go back, the system what we're playing is the system they're learning it, and they're playing it. We've learned it all training camp, and they're playing it right now, and they're committed to it. And it's like, John and I standing back there with Mike Ricci, and that the players are doing as much coaching as we are, because they know how we're supposed to play. They know we're supposed to be tight. They know we're supposed to be above the puck. And then when we get opportunities offensively, they know what to do. So it's been fun, and they're open to instruction, and they're competing hard, and that's always a positive.
That might be it.
Kevin?
John, good to see Ryan Merkley get rewarded there, kind of sidestepping a defender, getting the puck to the net.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, and that's kind of, he finds a way, right? He's an offensive guy. He he makes a little move, and you're like, oh, what's he doing? But he has the confidence. He has the ability to do that. And I thought he played a good game again tonight, and learning that Buffalo's a good hockey club. They hang on to pucks a lot, and I thought he did a nice job, especially John was using him pretty regularly with the 5D, and it's nice to see him get rewarded with that shot. And really it's everybody's like, oh, well, it was just a shot on net. No, well, he did a lot of good things up until that point where as you said, sidestepping the guy and then making sure that puck's directed at the net. And that's how you score in this league. You get bounces, and you see all the good defensemen, and he's got two here. One's not playing, but right-handed guys to look up to is Brent Burns. Throws a lot of pucks at net, but everything's with a purpose when you're throwing it there. And Carly always did that as well. So if he can continue to develop, he's gonna be a strong player.
Jay?
John, I just wanted to check on Santeri Hattika's status and what happened with him.
It's a good one.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know the status yet. I know he didn't come back in the game. I don't know if I think he was getting checked out. He got hit there, and then left the game and never came back. So I'll have to check. I never got updated on the thing, but I guess the old, once he gets reevaluated, we'll let you know.
Cliche.
So how the chain of command goes.
Yeah,
it's also not the head coach
upper
either.
Body injury.
Yes, that's upper body.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the help on that one.
If you say so.
Take one more from AJ.
Hi, Coach. I just wanted to know, what can you say about James Reimer over these last two games and the way he's come in and been consistent?
Well, it's been great for us, and you need that. And there's another veteran, we talk about leaders. I mean, there's another guy there, he works out his game so hard. It's impressive to see. Even if you're not a goalie, it's impressive to see how much, he's a pro, and he wants information. He wants to work at his game. It's his craft. He knows, it's his livelihood. And, for a guy like that to go in there and then, he calms everything, right? Like we won two games. By far, we didn't play mistake-free games. We made some mistakes out there, but when you have the confidence in your goalie back there, and just how his presence back there really helped, especially when you have young D and some inexperienced D getting called up there, and he did a lot of he was a leader back there and made the saves when he had to, and it was great, and guys fed off that.
All right.
Hey, John, thanks very much for your time.
All right, thank you.
He's going to stay there. He's like, oh, no, I'm done.
Alrighty.
And I believe Ryan is here, or will be here in just a second.
All right, that's good. Well, hang on. You know what? We'll go back to that in just a second. But what I was writing down, by the way, was a list of all the different big picture points I want to make.
So if you guys have any questions for Ryan, you can go ahead and use the
here comes
raise hand
Merckx.
function,
Let's
and
go
we'll
back
get
to that.
started with Ryan. Go ahead, Kevin.
Ryan, how's it feel to put one in?
Oh, it felt awesome. I was a little surprised, but it's always awesome scoring a goal here in this league. It was lots of fun. I was really excited.
You were aware that Hurdle was coming to celebrate, and then kind of did a 180 to go fish the puck out of the net for you?
Yeah, that was very nice of him. I was excited to get that puck. I mean, didn't expect it to happen so soon. I mean, in the other leagues, it took me a while. And with the Cuda, with Guelph, it took me a while. So I wasn't expecting to be in the fourth period here.
Did your parents and sisters make it in?
Yeah, my mom and two sisters made it in. And my dad's still at home working. Yeah, I'm sure he watched live.
Did you see them? See your family after the game? What they have to say?
No, nothing yet. Not yet. I haven't seen them yet. And after this, I hope we go. I'm sure they're really happy. I'm sure my mom was emotional.
What have you learned?
It's awesome.
Over these two games? Obviously, we hear it's a faster game. You got to make decisions quicker. But just from your perspective, anything else that stands out over these two games for you?
I thought for sure my second game was better. I felt more ready, more prepared. I mean, I got a few days in notice there, but I felt good. My legs were good. I'm skating well, moving the puck quick. I like playing out here. I mean, these guys are good players. They get paid a lot here to play, and I mean, they make it easy.
Curtis?
Ryan, was this daunting at all for you guys? Yourself, Jacobs, and Terry. Were you guys? How do you guys try to sort of keep keep calm when you're asked to sort of take the place of some guys like Vlasic and Carlson and these players who have been around for a long time? How do you sort of keep focused when you're challenged like that?
I think we're having fun. We're smiling. It's all happy in the room. I know we're happy to be up here, so we're going to take the moment and be grateful for it and try our best. I mean, we want to win games here and do the best we can. So I think we've done a good job so far, giving up 4 goals in 2 games so far with the 4 new guys in. It's been awesome.
Shane?
Ryan, in the first couple games here and on your goal, you seem to have a gift for, being able to kind of sift that shot through. What have you been seeing in that regard in terms of just, the pressure at the NHL level, at the point there, but also you're able to still get that shot through?
Yeah, I'm patient up there. I like playing with the puck, trying to find a lane, try to change the angles. But I mean, I think I'm comfortable in making plays. I feel confident out there. I mean, it's a lot of fun playing in front of those fans and in front of your family. So, I mean, you get up for it. It's lots of fun. It's the best hockey in the world. So you got to be ready.
And what did it mean to you to be able to score that first AHL goal with, your mom and your family in the stands there?
Yeah, it's just great time. And like, what are the odds? I wasn't expecting it. Don't really think about that stuff going into the game. I just want to play a good, hard game, be good defensively. And I got a lucky break tonight. It was really exciting. I'm really happy.
All right, Ryan, I think that wraps it up. Thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thanks, how we going? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. That wraps it up for tonight. We will check on the schedule for tomorrow and update you all.
Save that puck. Let me turn that off before a lot of times there's media messages in there, and we cut out as soon as the interviews are over on television. But anyways, as I was saying before, I came up with kind of this list here of looking at my NBC Sports notepad there of things I wanted to talk about here after the game. And actually, I could probably just continue on with Ryan Merkley. Great observations there by a couple people, and Kersey was one, Shang Peng was another. Defensively, the Sharks stepping up in the last 2 games, probably how they've won these games. I think there is a lot to be said about that. Yeah, tonight Buffalo gets 3, but last game Winnipeg only got 1. Reimer and net, probably a big reason for that, but as was asked of John McLean, probably just simplifying things with the puck, but also especially without the puck. So all of these young defensemen doing that job, but for Ryan Merkley, I think, like with the puck, I made the reference earlier on. In fact, it was during the game, so a lot of you might have missed this. Reminds me in flashes, and I've only seen 6 periods of him in the NHL, but reminds me a little bit of Dan Boyle. Undersized. I don't know if he's the quickest skater out there, but you can tell he's mentally ahead of the game. He makes all the right decisions and feels very comfortable handling the puck at the point. So I don't want to put the weight of, oh yeah, you've got to be Dan Boyle now. But I definitely think there's something to be said and made about that comparison here early on. Tomas Hertl, another 2-goal game, his second 2-goal game of the season. And for more on that, let me bring up my old stat sheet here. So for Tomas Hertl now, 5 goals on the year, which if I'm pretty sure about this, if I'm correct, he and Timo Meier now co-lead the team, each with 5 goals. And for Hertl, a goal last game, 2 more in this one. That line, he and Balcers, I mean, no surprise. Rudy got the primary assist on both the Hertl goals. Those 2 guys look like a tandem. Gosh, I guess I didn't even realize Hertl also secondary assisted on Merkley's goal. 3-point night for number 48. But I love to see these defining games and outputs from him. His season obviously started really hot. I think those first couple games went really well, kind of tailed away from the limelight a bit. It was all about the Couture line and Jonathan Dahlen, who I'll talk more about in just a second. But nice to see kind of Hertl jump back into the limelight as, one of the top performers and not just in gameplay, but also in result. I hit the wrong, now I'm look at this. I totally screwed myself up here. All right. Now I really want to talk about what I think is the main story surrounding this team. It's hard to figure out how are they doing this minus so many of their key players. from Erik Karlsson to Vlasic to Timo Meier, your leading goal scorer going into tonight. Kevin Labanc is an every night player, obviously, and should be helping you out, especially in the power play. How is this team looking, like getting the results, but looking so good when they're up against pretty much the most adversity they've seen all season? They had lost 3 games in a row. They lost 7 players. They don't even have their head coach, right? The whole coaching structure behind the bench has had to change, and the person tapping shoulders is totally different in these last 2 games. It just goes to show you how flexible, how fortunate the Sharks are to have the Barracuda kind of be one and the same. Like, it's a totally different league. It's a totally different level, but to have their players accessible and to be able to teach kind of one system that these guys can come up and just play is amazingly helpful in situations like these. I cannot really get over the fact that this is something like this in each of the 2 prior seasons, the situation, the COVID list situation surrounding the Sharks. This is ultimately what would have knocked them off the rest of the way. They would have lost both these 2 games. They'd now have a 5-game losing streak. You'd find out that all their players are going to be 10 days, 14 days from coming back. And look, I'm up for whatever needs to happen. Like, I want to protect them as human beings. I'm not saying this as a complaint. I'm just saying the way luck would have it for the Sharks of seasons prior would have been the worst case scenario because of this huge bump in the road. Instead, this team bounces back under the hottest of temperatures. And that's why a lot of people are very excited about this team. I know it's just 9 games, but once we get from the 10 to 20 game mark, I mean, you're going to have, and we're not even halfway there yet, but by the 20 game mark of this season, you're going to have a little taste of what this group is made of, probably who they should be. It's not to say they won't have more setbacks, but 25% of the way through, you're going to have a really good read on this club. James Reimer. So Drew said the other night, after holding Winnipeg to 1, and they only got their goal late when they were pushing, Sharks won 2-1 in overtime. The way Reimer looked on, is it like 40 saves, 43 saves? I can't remember, but Reimer looked excellent last game, and Drew's like, how do you not start him again next game? Well, they did tonight. So my question is, on Thursday, like, you don't want Aiden Hill to get rusty. You don't want to make it so that you're putting somebody else behind the 8 ball, but how do you not keep going right back to James Reimer? I mean, he allowed 3 tonight. 1 was late again, but I think Reimer and the team defense is one of their strong points in these last 6 periods. Love to see it. Mario Ferraro and Brent Burns logging a ton of time tonight. Mario almost got to 30 minutes. Oh, look, that time went up. You know what I didn't? Or no, did it go down a little bit? I thought he was 29 something. Maybe this got altered at the end. But 28-48 and 26-59 for 88 and 38. That's a ton of time. And these guys, throughout the absence of a 65 and a 44, like the weight is going to be on their shoulders to play a ton of time. Now, can you, and do you want to do that to these guys? I mean, Burnsy's always had high minutes. And Mario's a young guy who's in great shape and probably loves the opportunity, and especially playing with Burnsy. But, how monitoring that, right? And how could you, I wish we could have heard from Mario tonight after the goal. I bet he would have been great in the interview. But I'm just saying, like, how do you manage them? Like, I'm glad they're getting results, but how do you pace them through a period where they're going to have to be critical players on a pretty every night basis? Just shut this real fast. It's important, right? You do not want to burn those guys out. Other points here. Oh, for Ryan Merkley, I guess I wrote him down twice here, but to get that first goal, I talked about the Dan Boyle comparison. What do you do next? Like, what happens if he keeps playing, up to a certain level? It's going to be hard when you're fully healthy and it's like, we don't want to send you back. I don't know. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I don't know when and where that bridge is going to be. But that's interesting, right? What if Ryan Merkley takes this opportunity and sprints with it. Gets interesting, right? In a very good way. And in the same way, my last two names here on the list are Eklund and Dahlin. Jonathan Dahlin, let me start with him. 4 goals already this season, and I love the way that, but not only did he get the first, I mean, that's kind of a tone setter of the game, but to have 4 goals now on the season, just came off the COVID list from last game, so, had to sit out, caught a breather, so to speak. An interesting story that he played a handful of games with the Barracuda, realized that I still want to go work on some things, went back to Europe, is their league's leading scorer, is the MVP of the league, comes back, makes the Sharks roster. Logan Couture, eyed him during training camp. He eyed him out and said, I want to play with this guy. I want this guy on my line. And now you've got Jonathan Dahlin. So I guess 8 NHL games and 4 goals already. I don't have the complete updated stats, but let's look at Dahlin's night tonight. Individually, 76, played 14:55, 19 shifts. I don't know, probably one of those on the power play looks like for about 33 seconds. Only just had the shot that went in. And there you go. But I mean, I'm looking at playing time, about 15 minutes. That's right along the lines. I mean, Hertl played 16:22. Bonino's at 16:40. Looking at other forwards here, what did Logan play? 17:53. So, a respectable opportunity. Obviously, you're on Logan's line. This is prime time, and he's delivering. So I love the lineage. I love thinking about Ulf Dahlin. I love the fact that, and Drew, who watched Ulf play and knew Ulf on a very close basis, and he says Jonathan looks very much the same. I love that. I can't wait to see how this continues to pan out. And, of the big 3 rookies of Weatherby, Dahlin, and Eklund, Eklund came in with the most hype, and I'll finish with him in just a second, but a lot about just turning 19, surprised that the Sharks drafted him, surprised that he had a really good preseason, points in every game, a goal in the last one. Then he made the team. Then did he have an assist? He had a point almost, I think he had a point per game the first 3 games, off to a really good start, then kind of tailed away, sat a game. They didn't want to play him back-to-back, but again, Eklund in a second. And Weatherby's been a really good player too. Very important that he can play right down the middle. He can win draws. Weatherby tonight. Where is he here? There he is. Won 5 of 8 draws. There you go. 3 hits. Blocked a shot. Took a shot. So, very solid player. But to me, and to get back to the point here, if I'm really looking at the Sharks Calder Trophy winner, internally, yeah, it's probably Dahlin at this point. But I hope all 3 of those guys have success. And that brings me to maybe the last point I wanted to make here on William Eklund. And it's just what does the future hold? I know there's all this talk about, the 10-game mark and either executing or, continuing the contract or sending him back to Europe, or maybe keeping him here in North America, but understanding that a trip to the AHL, if warranted, is in the cards. I said it first, and I'm kind of repeating myself here from probably about an hour ago, but I said at first that I just wanted the Sharks to do what they thought was best for him in the long term, so that even if you really, really just wanted him to be here now and you thought that maybe you could fast track him and go through your struggles now, I don't know if that's the best way to harness a young 19-year-old player into this league to set him up for superstardom success. I just don't know. So my intentions back then were, I really want them to do whatever's best in the long-term interest of number 72, William Eklund. Now, kind of seeing that he's done enough, he's not struggling in this league by any means. He's not having maybe the Dahlin type success, but I don't think he's overmatched. I think he's playmaking. I think he's doing all the right things. There's a lot of encouraging factors that would lead me to believe he's done enough to stay up here. And certainly now, you know, the COVID situation, the way that's been, you know, dictating roster moves and available players. Do you really want to lose a player now just because you felt like, we're not sure about it? I think the situation is such and his performance is such that you're probably keeping him here at this point, right? And I guess we're 9 games in. He's played 8. So is the next game after next game, that's the factor, right? I guess we'll find out. And for me, that's probably where I'm at right now. But overall, final thought on this. I mean, look, you've got a Sharks team that came out of the gate really hot. Opening night, comeback win, go on that road trip, win the first couple games, win 4 in a row, lose 3 in a row, but, you know, with some good things about it. Now you've won 2. And now you've got the chance on Thursday and on Saturday. Hey, if you finish off the rest of this homestand with 2 more wins in a row, or even if you just split, it's a pretty respectable homestand, all things considered. But I'm interested in seeing how the Sharks can continue keeping pace under the situation they're facing, missing a lot of regulars, you know, having guys step in. I love this. I'm cautiously optimistic about how long and how well this goes. It's gone great through 6 periods. And I certainly hope it goes, you know, like the Jets had won 4 in a row. There's no slouch about that. The Sabres are already, you know, with 5-2-1 coming in tonight. Like it's not a bad Sabres team. So this is not like the Sharks are getting, you know, lucky here. They've gotten unlucky and responded in tremendous ways. So where does this go? I think the next couple games give you a really good read on the chemistry of this group, the potential of this group, and specifically the young players. Okay. I have neglected one of the best and most important parts of this whole deal here. And that's got to be the live chat. So I'm so sorry that I am way, way, way behind. Let me see here. Joe Thornton is 8-0-1. Go Sharks. Are we really talking about the Florida Panthers right now? Yeah, you know, Eklund is playing 10-plus games in the NHL this year. I would not be surprised. Goes quicker when you're winning. You know, the season PS, is that what you're talking about? Sharks are 6-3-0. And yeah, a bit streaky, right? Like 4 wins, 3 losses, 2 wins. Let me go up back here in the comments because did I mention Dan Boyle too many times with the Ryan Merkley reference? If I keep saying it, you got to keep drinking. Apparently, Meyer, Couture, Hurdle at a point per game pace. I mean, and hey, like if in training camp you said who are the guys you're going to lean on, right, forward wise. Those are 3 of the names specifically right there in terms of experience and opportunity and guys that have to be leaders. Stop playing with the buttons. Yeah, it's a one-man operation. I apologize for any technical difficulties, to be quite honest with you. Oh, here's a good one. Where are the Doug Wilson haters at? I mean, hey. You talk about, you know, facing adversity, coming under criticism, and, you know, the Sharks are in this unprecedented territory of not having made the playoffs 2 straight years. They've never, as a franchise, in 31 years, they've never missed 3 times in a row. So, and I'm saying that because the pressure is inherently on to get this group pointed back in the right direction. You get this group to the playoffs this year. Look, I wish them the best. I hope they make a nice run. But that alone is the step. That's when you've officially returned to something. You've regained something that you lost. You quite honestly lost and weren't even close to each of the last couple of years. So I agree. Like, honestly, if this season pans out, like in the small sample size we've seen, if it pans out largely as it's gone, and they're competitive and they're in a playoff push and they make the playoffs, I would agree. then that's a pretty quick return from where they've been. Sharks have a different vibe, new blood, and it's a little bit of new. It's younger blood, but it's definitely new life. A's, Raiders, Dubs, Sharks. My boy, he's got a great YouTube channel. He's not my son boy, but he's my boy. Hope they stay this good, and that right there is probably one of the critical factors I was trying to suggest earlier. Now they're behind the 8 ball. The COVID list situation is what it is, and being consistent under pressure, I think, is what we really hope and need to see for this team to continue on here. We need to re-sign Hertl ASAP. I'll put it to you this way: I'll wait as many weeks and potentially months as it takes, so long as the Sharks, if they can get him, obviously, for a competitive deal. I how do I say this? You love Tomas Hertl. You know that, especially after a game like tonight, a 3-point game, 2 goals in 2 straight games. But you want to do this as a mutually beneficial thing. You want him to be very happy. You want him to want to be here. But you also need to make it so that you can still build and surround him with the future teammates that he's going to need and he's going to want to stay here and play here. So I'm just saying it like it is. You want to make him happy, but you also want to surround him under a salary cap situation. Brody's about to throw us the speech from Major League. Yeah, if you're talking about the adversity these guys have been facing and how they're, how they're responding to, I don't know if this is like that. Clearly, it's not like that. Throw in Reimer, play, or I think you're saying, Julio, throw in Reimer, play the strong hand. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like Aiden Hill, and nothing about me saying, all right, put Reimer in again on Thursday. Nothing about that is a detriment to Aiden Hill. Not at all. That's just saying, like, when the guy's rolling, why do you want to stand in the way of that? I don't think you do. Not signing Hertl would be a huge mistake. I mean, look, you don't know what the market would what he would command in a free agent situation. You just don't know. But I agree. I mean, he's been around long enough. He's developed with this team. He's matured. I would think, for every reason possible, he's a great teammate. You'd want to keep him around. Reimer is like Urbe. He's like Wall. Let me see here. Chase offering to send the contract extension straight to Hertl. Or maybe Doug can do it. I think Doug's got to sign it, Chase. So even if you prepare it, make sure you fax it over to Doug. I've got his fax number here. I'll send it to you. Ooh, is that right, Drew? The Sharks have about 17 in cap space next season. Now, do we know the cap is going up a little bit again for sure? Do we know? Is that right? I'll have to do a little. I'm not at yet. I'm not at next season's cap number yet. Not by any means. Dahlin for Calder. I mean, look, you keep at this pace of scoring a goal almost every other game. Yeah, I mean, it's a 40-goal season, but I think there's 2 things to consider here. I'm going to say this a lot. The Sharks Calder, like, who is the Sharks' top rookie? Because there is kind of that battle. There's a couple good players, and they all serve different roles, but it's fun. It's fun to watch a next group and understand that, there's probably no going back for some of these guys, right? I mean, in the prior 2 seasons, you bring somebody up, they might have 1 good game out of 5, and then they're silent. You don't hear from them. Limited ice time. Then they're a scratch, and they're back in. Then they're out. Then they're down. That's it. You're finding young players that can stick right now. Stickability, that's not a word, is the biggest part. All right, I'm only going to stay on here till 11, so I'm going to try and jump through as many of these as possible here, and I'm way behind. Let me see here. A lot of people talking about a lot of people talking about Evander Kane's contract and the buyout of Martin Jones. We talked about Kane earlier. I don't. So much remains to be seen in that regard. And although I know at one point we thought, all right, well, him and the 21 game suspension are a ways off. Like this won't be, this won't come to not a conclusion, but it won't be necessary to discuss anytime soon. I mean, it is. We're almost halfway through his 21 game suspension. Let me see here. I am so far behind on these. I like when Brody switches the camera up to the left. You like that, Jolie? You like when I go boom, 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 boom. And I apologize for some of the technical issues earlier. I didn't have that many, but I was trying to get the sound working. It wasn't. But we got all the interviews on. That was great. Thoughts on Reimer? I've given some of those. I mean, he's been a great idea for the team, and I love the way that it was, a young, promising, up-and-coming guy in Hill, and then something more established in Reimer, and that's what you're going with right now. And I hope that Aiden Hill can come in and also make it more interesting in his next start and opportunity. Jolie, side note, if you see this, Shangpeng, you've been doing a killer job. Keep it up. Jolie, I totally agree, and I think, you know what it is? It's not only a reporter's work in their medium, like in his case, it's the writing, but also on social media is important. But I think another third element is when you hear the questions asked in a post-game situation, and they are the questions that make the interviewee light up. Like they want to talk about that, or you know what? Like I'm glad you brought that up, or that's a tough question, and you're making me think. And his questions do that a lot. So I totally agree, Jolie, and I could say that about several members of the media in that way, and I think you definitely hit it right there perfectly. Hey, again, this is a tough league, and unpredictable things happen, and some players don't pan out like they were really, really supposed to, and situations don't occur like they were absolutely guaranteed that every fan knew they would, and they don't. So I agree. I mean, if this season is the redemption tour for Doug Wilson, I think there's a lot of people who are like, told you so, We'll see. We'll see how it goes. 90% of British Columbians are vaccinated. What's the excuse in California? Morbital, I don't know. And is that true? 90% in BC? Good on British Columbia. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. And if I don't know if this is a conversation about the Sharks and the COVID stuff, they're all vaccinated. They're all, from what we know, all vaccinated. But I also think too that it should not come as a surprise to all of us that the nature of their job, how they play, how they travel, restaurants, where they've been, things like this are going to happen. The vaccination does not make you immune to totally getting the virus. It does not. It limits it, it prevents it, and it inhibits how serious it could be. I mean, why am I explaining this? I'm not a doctor. But hopefully that's the obvious stuff. I know there are some people so confused. Well, how does this happen? Happens to a lot of people all over the place, but it's not as big a deal when you know that everybody is protected to a certain measure. Let's see here. Something is from Kevin Kurz. Chase Woods, have to wonder after these two wins in which the opposition has had very few scoring chances, whether the Sharks' best third D pairs is really Šimek and Vlasic. Thoughts? Oh, I see. That's from Kevin Kurz. Look, Chase, I think, and it goes with all the young players, for them to have early and initial success is great. I want to see how this, I mean, if we're really going to make that comparison, we're going to get that personal, and we're going to really, A versus B, what Šimek and Vlasic have done over years, Vlasic more than Šimek, but like you know, there's a history there. And when new players come up and do it for just a little spurt, you got to convince me for just a little bit longer before we can actually do that AB. Now, if I'm going along the route of play the hot hand like I would with a goalie, then yeah, certainly like there's been a really impressive injection into this team. So that's probably the way to put it. Baseball's over. It's all about Sharks hockey. Totally agree. Reimer's going to have a Fleury-like resurgence this year. All right. So you're saying he's going to switch teams? I hope not. But no, I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, Sharks versus Blues on Thursday. And like I said, and I think the Blues are they playing tomorrow night? Is that right? And then tomorrow night and then Thursday, right? So they're on a second half of a back-to-back too. But again, this is, winning on Saturday, it wasn't a miracle, but it was like, wow, that was really impressive. Winning tonight was making me think that Saturday wasn't so miraculous. Let's see what this group does against Binnington. Ooh, that's going to be fun. And the Blues on Thursday. Trade for Thornton at the deadline. Come on. The Astros lost. Yeah. You know what? I did not have a horse in that race. Not at all. Hello from Boise. Fun must be always. Did he say that tonight? I don't think he officially said that tonight. Mungo used to cheer for Ulf Dahlin. See, now life comes full circle. Randy Hahn used to call Ulf Dahlin games, and now he's calling Jonathan Dahlin games. Let me see what else here I can go to. Should the team name right now be the Sharkuda? You know what? Oh, look, it's awesome. Like I said, that you had some players in the wings, and they were in town, and they've jumped into this, and they didn't really have time to think or stress out about it. A member of the Hahn family. What's up, Randall? We should just be called the Baby Sharks. Do. Thanks for tuning in, Randall. Appreciate you, man. Well, now, wait a second. The son of Randy Hahn here is saying, shout out to Bucci and Boucher for the phenomenal broadcast tonight. Now, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not making this controversial. I agree, Randall. I don't know if you, how long you've been on here, but earlier, what I said was, I enjoy sometimes hearing somebody else call a Sharks game so that I can always appreciate Randy that much more. Randy and the respective partner he's working with, all of them over all the years have been great. But I agree, and I think, too, so many people criticize the national broadcasters because they got to play both ways, right? They got to be excited and upset for both teams, and they're on a singular broadcast. They can't do what NBC Sports California can do. And they also don't know these teams as intimately as a Honor, a Hetty, a Drew, a Jamie Baker over the year does, or everybody I work with, Curtis Brown in studio. It's hard. It's really hard for them to match the level of what you're used to. But I agree. Two guys clearly loved hockey, loved the game, had a good time tonight, Bucci and Bush. I've always loved Bush, like I said before. He did a great job on NBC Sports. But to hear Bucci, and I haven't listened to a ton of his calls, but to hear that tonight, thought it was fantastic. Threw in a little, it was playful, it was youthful, it was fun, but it was also very polished, professional, and serious. I thought he was great. Any Howard Terminal thoughts here? Now wait a second. You are officially watching Sharks Night Shift. I gotta keep bringing that up. By the way, since I'm here just promoting stuff, can I just say, if you're watching right now, and I'm gonna sign off here soon. If you're still watching and you have not subscribed to the channel, golden opportunity, please, to do that right now for me, so that you can see more stuff just like this moving forward. Okay, where were we here? You know what? I'm going to come out with my next video, my next pre-produced video here on YouTube. 10 rants. I've got 10 rants about Howard Terminal. And when I say rants, I mean like things that I firmly believe are true, and 10 things that I hear maybe kick back with, and 10 things that I just can't wait to get off my chest about Howard Terminal. Andy Land, thank you so much for watching the Bob Melvin interview. I know we've switched to A's here, I guess. Thank you for saying that. And yes, I did start a second YouTube channel, Brody Brazil Aviation. I know. If you're into that stuff, it exists. Check it out. Search Brody Brazil Aviation. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate that. And Honor, boom. You have a good night too. Let me see if I could get to just a couple more of these. Mark, much love to you too, man. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, Drew Bush is fantastic. Tito, were you really watching it in Spanish? That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh, wait. So wait, there really was? Was it the same Spanish call that was on from Saturday night? I wasn't aware of that. I love to check that out. What I'd love to do is watch the game. I couldn't just listen to it because I couldn't fully make it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I know enough Spanish, but I'd want to watch and have it synced up. Got the chance to attend tonight's game, and oh my, what fun one tonight. What a fun one tonight was at the tank. Roach Dog, great handle, by the way. A's Raiders, Dub Shark, appreciate that. Chase, thank you for noticing. My wife, of all people, was actually telling me about that too. I knew it was close. I know it's been getting there. I did say going into this year, into 2021, that I don't know where I started, a couple thousand. Said I want to just get to 10,000 by the end of this year. Well, looks like that's going to happen, and thanks to a lot of you guys for making that kind of a reality. Okay, you know what? If I don't do it now, I may never do it. I may stay here literally all night, and not like that's a bad thing, but I've got some parental duties to take care of through the night and early tomorrow morning. So hopefully some of that stuff I was saying earlier made sense to just try and wrap up like where this group is at. There is so much going on right now with the San Jose Sharks. I mean, to the point where I'm not saying they've ever been a boring team, but there have been times where it's pretty simple and straightforward. Like, this is who they are. There's just not much going on. There is so much going on right now with individuals, with groups of players, with health stuff, with COVID stuff. But there you have it. The Sharks, through 9 games, have 6 wins. All right. Thanks for watching the first ever Sharks Night Shift. See you next time.